colors of the cells in the body. I wanted to have programs so that everybody can have the cell look and take home with you. You can understand what each one of those cells are. The last thing you just saw was the liver cell, and it has all the greens, the yellows, the blacks, and the oranges. So every time you see a cell or a model come out, they're representing a cell. The hair, when you see the red loops, those are the red blood cells in the hair, and they're designed to look exactly like what those blood cells look like in your body. Or you see the white in DeAndre, there are a lot of the white blood cells that look just like that, have the poop. So when I started putting the show together, I decided I wanted to try to represent the clothes, represent the cells through the clothes and the hair. And I originally had Dr. Bathsheba Johnson, who was scheduled to be here, to talk to you about what all those different cells mean and what they look like and why they are active in the body and how they're affected. What I definitely want to make sure that everybody understands, it's very important that we find out about our bodies and how that body is functioning. And again, if you don't take your medicine, sometimes your immune system becomes compromised enough that you're so weak that you can't even get out of the bed. Some people are dealing with dual diagnosis. That means that you're either HIV positive, you have a abusive drug habit that leads you not to take your medicine the way you're supposed to, or you're out, and then you go on to the next extreme, which is not thinking about protection. Having sex and not thinking about protection. Now here's the kicker. I lived in Chicago for 9 years, and on the west side of Chicago there are some young kids that are 10 years old. How many people have seen Wire? If you've never seen cable, you've seen Wire. There are little kids that are dealing drugs and being runners for the drug dealers, and the drug dealers are teaching them bad habits, or they don't have anybody at home that can guide them, or they have somebody at home but that person's not at home because they're working 2 or 3 different jobs because they're a single parent. These kids are getting information that's incorrect information, and they're learning how to be young people from their friends in the streets. And I just advise everybody to make sure you pay attention to what your child is doing. Teach them about sex. Some of them don't want to talk about sex. I said to my son, well, are you using condoms? Daddy, why are you talking to me about stuff like that? If I don't talk to you about it, who else is? You know, we have to start communicating, not being afraid to talk to them about certain issues. And also we have to open our minds and be ready to hear what it is that they're doing. Some of us don't want to accept that our children are out there doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And then you think that your child sometimes is so wonderful, and we all do, that you don't want to admit to that, oh, no, not my child. Your child, you know. And you have to be ready to accept the fact that they are out there doing it. And if they're out there doing it, they're hanging out with a whole bunch of other kids that are out there doing it. And the cycle just keeps going and going and going. The disease gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's in our children, whether it's at birth or whether they're having sex and not protecting themselves. So I encourage you to talk to your kids, talk to your youth, and encourage them to be accountable for their actions first. And trusting God that He's going to move through them to have them do what they need to do for Him. And then also be able to make healthier choices in life when it comes to the people they hang out with, what they're doing when they hang out. We also have young kids at 10 doing drugs. And we all know that when we're doing drugs lead you to go and do stuff. Your mind is already into a whole nother place. You're not thinking about what you're doing. And the next thing you know, you're in bed with somebody you normally would be in bed with at 10 years old. Now you know if young girls are getting pregnant at 12 and 11 and all of that, 13 and 14, they're not even barely out of middle school. Then that means they're not protecting themselves. So the next danger that comes with that is HIV. And later on down the line, it could be AIDS. So I would hate to have a young person at 10 taking medicine, although there are some. During my research, I found that there are some. So I want you to understand what's happening with this documentary. Just take a look at it, and then we're going to keep moving. We're already way behind.